Welcome back to The Mouse and Men, where we explore the grown-up side of Disney. Find us online at themouseandmen.com and on social media at The Mouse and Men. I am Bradley, your host, and today we are sort of reimagineering, but really just looking into monsters and Muppets. So, news that came out at D23 a little while ago was that Monsters Inc. would have their own land, and that would be going into Hollywood Studios, where Muppet Vision currently is. And oh no, what's going to happen to Muppets in the park? Muppets are then moving to Rock and Roller Coaster and giving Aerosmith the boot. So a little bit of rearranging, but I like this. And why, well, like why monsters? And um why is Aerosmith getting the boot? I don't know if there's been anything, just contractually with Aerosmith, but something that I've learned about Disney parks is the new attractions aren't for necessarily the new movies, but it's for the movies, the intellectual property that adults grew up on. So I remember when Monsters Inc. came out, um, and can't remember exactly the year, but I was in school, and watched it quite a bit growing up. I was the oldest of three, so I saw stuff that was even younger than the target audience that I was in, because I had a little brother who's 7 years younger. So I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I saw this quite a bit. And what Disney wants to do is they want to put monsters in the parks to bring me and my younger siblings back to the parks. It's a draw for us because it gets us engaged, and we're all about how do you get adults to be engaged in the parks. And it's what they do is they bring back the movies from your childhood and my childhood. So some of those, that's why some of the older things that just kind of trail off. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, it, it just wasn't getting, it just wasn't as familiar with with the the parents bringing kids to the parks. So Monsters Land, Monsters Inc., the world of Monsters Inc. It's it's going to look like Monstropolis. Um, the big attraction is going to be a hanging coaster, from what I understand so far. Um, and this is the Grand Avenue. This is where Muppet Vision 3D currently sits. Muppet Vision is they'll start closing things. It looks like about May 10th, so first second week of May 2025. They'll just kind of phase these things out. Um, and so Muppets, we're gonna be without Muppets for a little bit. I love the Muppets. My kids haven't gotten into them. I think they may be a little young still, at 5 and 3, but we've tried introducing them to the Muppets. But I'll be honest, if it's not Cars, my kids probably aren't interested. But I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to get to go into Monstropolis. I really loved Monsters Inc. I enjoyed Monsters University as well. I've talked about Monsters at Work, which is a fun little thing. And in the Monsters at Work era is when is the is the time that we'll be going into Monstropolis. This is after Monsters Inc. has converted from scare power to laugh power. And so realizing that humans aren't aren't toxic and um, contaminating. Is that a word? Um, in an adjective as an adjective? I don't know. I don't know that it is. Um, but humans are now being welcomed in to Monstropolis. So I'm really excited about this. It's such a creative world, and something that my kids do love Monsters Inc. They've watched it several times, and I think they're also going to be excited about it because I don't know about you. I love showing movies to my kids that I grew up with. So that that's what's going to happen with the World of Monsters Inc. Um, and so what's cool is um, this suspended roller coaster, which I don't believe Disney has done, is going to take place around the idea of that door room and those doors flying in and out. So that should be quite a thrill. Um, and so let's move on to what's happening with Muppets. Um, it's been announced that the Muppets are taking over Rock and Roller Coaster, with the quote teaming up with some of music's biggest stars for Rock and Music Festival. Um, so I don't know what they really have in store, but what's great about Muppets is they have always combined Muppets and real world people, celebrities, um, and so I don't know when I'm looking. I don't see when necessarily the Aerosmith version of Rock and Roller Coaster is going to close, so it can be refurbished and rethemed for Muppets. Um, but I'm excited for this. I really enjoyed the Electric Mayhem um, series, and so I'm excited to see what they do with this. I also think that having the Muppets as kind of the mainstay and having some sort of a musical festival, this could allow Disney to rotate in other musical artists a little bit easier. Which Aerosmith, um, I mean, they had they hadn't done a whole lot. Um, they hadn't. I don't know that they've ever updated the storyline really. And so it's just, but I loved it. I love the Aerosmith music. But this could lend itself to more adaptability in the future. Um, it's a bummer that the Electric Mayhem series was canceled after one season. But one season was enough, and I understand that there's marketing dollars that if you do multiple seasons, you don't have to, have all these startup costs again. You're kind of just keep rolling. Um, but sometimes, and you see this a lot with the Marvel series, one series of 6, 8, 10 episodes is all that you need to tell that storyline. And um, I think they did a great job with the Electric Mayhem. So I'm looking forward to Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem hosting, uh, or being the featured artist for Rock and Roller Coaster. The uh, the artist or the concept art um, is looks like it's going to stay kind of in the same theme as Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster. I mean, I love and the crazy antics of the Muppets make sense for just going from 0 to 60 right off the bat. So I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about Monsters Inc. as well, but I'm really excited to see what they do. a big passion of mine is music. So I think that's why this really hits home for me. So I'm really excited to see what details emerge about Rock and Roller Coaster. Again, I'm not seeing when exactly they're going to close this version of Rock and Roller Coaster on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood Studios. But uh, it, you know, if you love it, it's time to get down there and ride it one more time because sometimes you don't get a whole lot of heads up that things are closing. Monsters and Muppets. I think this is great for the parks. I I would love to see uh, the Muppets kind of take over Sunset Boulevard. What does that mean for Tower of Terror? I don't know. Um, but wouldn't mind seeing the Muppets take over Tower of Terror as well. Um, so, what do you think about Sunset Boulevard being reimagined? Also, um, uh, Grand Avenue, where Muppet Vision 3D is currently. The parks are always changing. They're finding what guests want, what guests have uh, kind of used up. I mean, Muppet Vision is still quite popular, and I think that's why they're keeping Muppets in the parks. It's just being relocated, and I think it makes a lot of sense how they're doing this. Um, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to the parks and see this when all this is complete. As it keeps changing, it's just more reasons to go back, if you ask me. But let us know what you think. Podcast at themouseandmen.com. Obviously, our website's themouseandmen.com, and find us on social media. I have not forgotten about my t-shirt designs. I'm hoping to get back to that. Just been a little busy, but want to post 2, 3, 4, 5 of those on Instagram and see what you think. But want to remind all of you out there that you don't want to grow up too fast, and you got to keep exploring.